Deposits of glacial drift have produced many landscape features in southern Saskatchewan. In certain areas of the extreme south, however, glacial deposits are thin or absent, resulting in landscapes controlled by exposed bedrock that we now call badlands. Most of them lie close along the border between Saskatchewan and the United States. Because of low rainfall and high temperatures, there is little vegetation in these areas. In addition, the predominant shales and clays do not absorb large amounts of water, thus preventing the water from soaking into the ground. During infrequent, brief, but heavy rains and flash floods, water runs over the land in closely spaced rills and drainage channels. A fine stream pattern is characteristic of Badlands landscape. An example of Badlands topography is presented by the Frenchman River Valley, which runs in a southeasterly direction from the Cypress Hills toward the United States border. Erosional features dominate this valley landscape. Buttes are outstanding features. Buttes are isolated tablelands and owe their characteristic shape to a top cover of hard sedimentary rock which resists the erosional processes of wind and rain that carry away the underlying soft strata. Vegetation in the Badlands is quite scant. Many of the steeper knolls are bare of plant life. Wind-blown knolls display conglomerate which caps some of the uplands. One of the common forbs found on the knolls is the narrow-leafed stenotus, along with speargrass and June grass. The Frenchman River, outlined by its vegetated banks, is obviously underfit for a valley of this size. Like so many valleys in Saskatchewan, the Frenchman was originally a glacial drainage channel. Much of the bedrock formed long before the arrival of the glaciers has, since glaciation, been exposed to the work of erosion. Of exceptional interest in the valley is the colony of black-tailed prairie dogs, which covers 160 acres near Val-Marie. This is the only such colony in Canada. Massive poisoning campaigns carried out in the past almost exterminated these animals throughout the prairies. Once numbered in the millions, the remaining hundreds, fortunately, are now protected, for this land area has been set aside as a wildlife sanctuary. By protecting the prairie dog and other small rodents, species dependent upon them for survival, although now endangered, continue to exist. These species include the burrowing owl, ferruginous hawk, golden eagle, rattlesnake, kit fox, and black-footed ferret. The last two species, however, may already be extinct in Canada. The prairie dogs appear abundant and healthy on the quarter section of land. The vegetation is sparse, but the prairie dog likes it that way. Small sedges and grasses predominate on this open, windswept landscape. To the east of the Valley of the Frenchman, snuggled against the international boundary, are the Killdeer Badlands, located 20 miles south of Wood Mountain in Saskatchewan. The Wood Mountain area is an eastern extension of an upland ridge continuous with the Cypress Hills. These uplands are capped with gravels washed down long ago from the Rocky Mountains. This capping of gravel, cemented into conglomerate rock, has proved to be very durable and resistant to prolonged rainfall and subsequent erosion. Landscape areas protected by this hard cap remain as uplands in southern Saskatchewan, while the surrounding land was eroded away already before the arrival of the glaciers. During glaciation, the area received a thin coating of bouldery till. During and after the Ice Age, the till was removed by further erosion. The deep ravines created by creeks with headwaters in these uplands are an essential element in the Badlands appearance of the landscape. The exposed sedimentary bedrock provides a striking feature. In the Killdeer Badlands, the Ravenscrag Formation forms the capping strata. Within this formation of alternating sandstones and shales, there are seams of lignite coal. In some areas of the Badlands, these coal seams have been ignited by lightning. Burning coal has baked the overlying Ravenscrag shales, coloring them salmon orange to brick red. This hue tops many of the buttes in the Killdeer Badlands. Erosion at work has provided the Killdeer area with interesting teepee-shaped buttes that have been sculptured through time by wind and water. Again, these landscape features owe their existence to a durable cap of rock which protected them from the continuing processes of erosion. Salt-tolerant grasses and herbs struggle for growth on the flats at the base of the buttes. Vegetation cover on the buttes is scanty. Many of the steeper and south-facing slopes are bare. An interesting feature of the Killdeer Badlands is Sinking Hill, one of only few such features in Saskatchewan. A 200-foot center section has broken away from the two sides of the hill. This section has been sinking at the rate of 1 foot per year since the early 1930s. One explanation for its origin is that the flow of groundwater is in the process of gradually carrying away a layer of sediment next to the base of the hill. The block of ground of Sinking Hill settles to fill the space left by the material carried away by the groundwater into a nearby stream. With their support removed from the base of the hill, the overlying strata settle into the empty space and create a visible sinking effect. Whatever the specific reason, Sinking Hill is just one of many interesting sights in this striking and rarely visited area of Saskatchewan. The Killdeer Badlands will be incorporated as part of the Grasslands National Park proposed for southern Saskatchewan. Further east from the Killdeer Badlands, close to the Saskatchewan-Montana border, is the historic valley of the Big Muddy. This valley, like the Frenchman, is a former glacial drainage channel which cuts a 35-mile tract through the prairie of south-central Saskatchewan, meandering southeast into Montana to link up eventually with the valley of the Missouri. At one time, vast amounts of water from the glaciers and the lakes in front coursed through this valley. which in some areas is 1 mile wide and 500 feet deep. At present, there is only a trickle of water flowing through the Big Muddy Valley, which has numerous shallow, brackish lakes and sloughs. With the passing of time, the valley floor became filled, to a large extent, with alluvium, or sediment from the river. The excavation of the Big Muddy Valley resulted in the carving out of high, steep walls, exposing the area's bedrock. Slumping and the downward creep of materials weathered from higher parts of the bordering cliffs resulted in the general development of grass-covered slopes along the valley sides. However, there are numerous hills and cliffs displaying bare outcrops of strata, which contribute to the beauty and the extraordinary appearance of the Big Muddy Valley. The outcrops show rocks that were formed in the Upper Cretaceous and Tertiary geological time periods. The oldest observable layers in the Big Muddy Valley are those of the White Mud Formation, approximately 120 million years old. Prior to that time, the ocean was receding from southern Saskatchewan, and vegetation spread over the region as continental conditions developed. This vegetation was responsible for the seams of coal found in the Ravenscrag Formation, which overlies the White Mud. These exposed rocks, together with their embedded fossils, offer an orderly record of events that shaped the landscape of southern Saskatchewan. The difference in vegetation on north and south-facing slopes is quite apparent. The south-facing slopes are barren, while the sheltered and moister north-facing slopes and depressions support a number of trees and shrubs. Aspen is common. In association are roses, hawthorn, chokecherry, and Saskatoon bushes. The colorful pincushion cactus is sprinkled over the drier knolls of the hills. The valley of the Big Muddy has a colorful history. A lookout view of the Saskatchewan-Montana border is provided from these hills protecting the sheltered valley. At the turn of the century, the valley was a favorite route for horse rustlers. While the passage of time has eroded away the front part, the caves, where outlaws and their stolen horses were hidden from view, are still visible. This particular cave is named Kelly's Cave. During the Prohibition era, the Big Muddy Valley was used illegally as a border crossing for the transport of spirits into the United States. Wind and water flowing over the face of the land have been the dominant forces in shaping the southern landscapes. The Badlands, along with the sharply cut glacial drainage channels, provide many magnificent views in southern Saskatchewan.